Hi, I'm Jenny Spinner, Chief Editor of Snack Food and Wholesale Bakery, and I'm here with,
Liz Parker, senior editor.
and we are here to talk about the new product highlights for the whole year of 2023. Um, it was fun but challenging coming up with a short list. I came up with a list, Liz came up with a list, and if we'd gone with all of those, we would have been here for 2 hours, and nobody wants that. So we pared them down a little bit to the best of the best. And a criteria are pretty wide, but these are basically just products that sound, it's an interesting format, interesting flavor, maybe something we've never seen before, something that we're like, oh, I'm not sure about that. Let's keep an eye on this thing in the coming year and see how it connects with consumers, but just things that we think are interesting, and we hope you do too. So let's get going. My first pick is a company called Jackson's. They specialize in sweet potato chips that are fried in more healthful oils, specifically coconut and avocado. Their latest product is Jackson's Habanero Nacho Chips. And I picked this because, not just because I'm a spice girl, but because the habanero nacho blend is spot on. If you've been fortunate enough to have these in your mouth, you might have noticed that the flavor balance is good, the cheesy and the spice. It's a good level of heat. It's not gonna knock you over. But the mouth feel is really interesting. It feels like you're eating a chip with cheese without it being heavily layered. So it's just a really nicely balanced chip. And this product is available in Whole Foods, so it'll be interesting to see how this spicy cheesy snack resonates with consumers in coming months.
All right, moving on in the chip category, we have Hare's sandwich chips, so like sandwich chips. These are notable because they are the first chips made for sandwiches. So for example, there's a chain I like called Tom and Chee, and they used to do that. They used to put chips in their grilled cheese, always delicious. We no longer have them, which was a sad day. But Hare's sandwich chips are made in that vein. Like you can put the sandwich right in the chips, and I think they came up with some flavors to complement sandwiches as well.
Yeah, it's a chips and sandwiches seem to go together hand in hand. And second grade Jenny back many years ago, I thought I was a genius because I took the boring sandwich that mom put in my lunchbox with the chips and put the chips on the sandwich. It made it like went from a blah bologna sandwich to this fun crispy thing. Not knowing that people in the UK had been doing it for ages. They call them buddies. Um, so yeah, Harris has come with a fun little reminder of that, chips and sandwiches go together, and this just takes it one step further. So that is fun. My next product is Better Brand is a company that's come out with a product called Better Bagel. People are interested in eating more protein, lower carb, but they don't want to give up bread and bready things like their morning bagel. So this company has come up with a formulation that is lower gluten, not no gluten, it's not gluten free, but it lowers the carbs, brings up the protein, so the people are trying to eat better and specifically trying to eat keto, perhaps, have an option. And I've seen it in Whole Foods. Liz, I think that you mentioned earlier that you've seen it too. So yeah, have you had a chance to try these guys?
Not yet. They look really interesting because I know we've written about them a few times, so I'll have to keep an eye out next time I'm at the store.
Indeed.
Going back to the chip category, or chip adjacent, I should say, Morningstar teamed up with Pringles to make plant-based chicken fries. That's CHIK''N. So Morningstar has been making vegetarian, vegan-friendly items for a while. I used to live off their veggie burgers in college, actually. Very easy to microwave. And this is a new partnership with Pringles. So the chicken fries have like a Pringles type coating, and it's supposed to taste exactly like the Pringles. So this would be an interesting thing to try to pick up in the frozen food aisle.
Yeah, because it's people who are eating better, whether it's plant-based or keto or like that, they want to have treats. They still want to have fun snacks like chicken fingers and like that. So Morningstar has come up with a way to chicken fingers fun coated with Pringles. It's a really fun frozen snack for people who are eating better. Um, And my next thing is another plant-based item. The last Sweets and Snacks show had this really fun feature called 5 by 5. It was 5 snack producers, 5 startups spending 5 minutes pitching their products to not just the people in the audience, but buyers from companies like retailer Harris Teeter. And one of the ones that stood out to me was Rivals. It's a stuffed snack with cheese-like filling, vegan, and it's a nice balance of flavor, healthfulness, and fun. And that stood out to me from the 5 companies that presented.
I think actually, yes, I was there as well. And out of the 5 companies, I had to leave a little early to make a mad dash to the airport. But out of the 5 companies, that was actually the only one that sticks in my mind. I try not to eat dairy things. I don't usually succeed, but it is nice to have options that you can try that taste just like dairy. And moving on to our next product, if you can have dairy or want to eat dairy, Farm Rich introduced stuffed sweet peppers, goat cheese bites, and Thai style chili chicken bites. So this is interesting to me because Farm Rich, I think, like mozzarella sticks and like stuffed mushrooms and like French fries and like more typical like frozen appetizers. So it kind of puts them more in like the upscale area. So it should be interesting to try those.
Yeah, people like to have options in all aspects of snack and bakery, and frozen appetizers have really come up with some interesting options, fun flavors, combos, and Farm Rich, this trio, it's all sounds really fun and a premium. I occasionally I don't feel like cooking, and rather than order in, I'll just hit the frozen snack aisle and have an appetizer dinner. And I think these would at least attract my eye, probably attract my dollars. When I'm having one of those, I don't feel like whipping up a meal from scratch. Let's let a company like Farm Rich do the work for me. My next item is a hybrid product. So if you've ever had a cronut, it's this mad hybrid of a croissant and a donut created by Dominic Anzel. And if you want to, if you ever go to Vegas for fun or for a show, he has a location inside Caesar's Palace where you could try it for yourself. Thomas has come up with an interesting hybrid of croissant and bread. So it's a croissant like texture in a loaf form. So you can have croissant like bread sandwich or toast in the morning. So you're finding croissant flavor and texture in a place that you wouldn't expect to. It'll be interesting to see how that performs at retail.
That's definitely trending nowadays, like croissants in places you might not expect. A few years ago, we did like a best snack bakery product of the year award type thing, informal type award from Snack Boon Wholesale Bakery. And one of the things I got to taste test was a croissant style pizza crust from DiGiorno.
Ah,
Like it
yes.
was a pizza, not just the crust. And it was very good. It was very flaky and airy. So it should be interesting to keep an eye on that. And then speaking of hybrid products, if you are a Cheetos fan, you're going to want to be on the lookout for Cheetos pretzels. So Cheetos is interesting because when you think of them, you think puffs or extruded products like the curls or the puffs. But Cheetos is now kind of hoping their audience will follow them into the pretzel aisle. And it's the same topping or the same ingredients rather as Cheetos, the same flavors, I mean to say. So there's Flamin' Hot, and I believe there was like a standard cheddar one as well.
Yeah, I have seen these in carts at the store, so that's a little bit of a very low scale, limited scope consumer study, walking around Walmart, Target, whatever stores in your neighborhood and seeing if a snack product that's just hit the shelves is in other people's carts. So they're trying it. It's an interesting, a fun combination of things. So well done, Frito-Lay. My next product is if you are a US consumer that's grown up in the past, half century, you are probably familiar, especially if you have school age kids now. Uh Uncrustables is the best known version of this, but basically it's a frozen little circle of bread, 2 slices of bread with peanut butter and jelly in the middle. You grab it out of the freezer, and or if you're a kid, you pull it out of the freezer, wait a minute for it to thaw, and boom, you got an easy snack. Uh, However, if you are a kid or the parent of a kid with a peanut allergy, boo, you can't have these treats for yourself. There goes that fun, convenient snack. Well, Sun Butter, a company that makes sunflower butter, has come up with their version of it, which I've seen at retail. It's the same thing. It's the same shape. It's in the freezer. The only difference is sunflower butter rather than peanuts. So kids with the allergy can have a fun after school convenient snack.
I think that's a great idea because I have a lot of friends who are parents to kids who have allergies, some of which are
Mhm.
like life-threatening. And then I have a lot of friends who can't have peanut things. So they would probably love that as like a quick snack or a meal. Moving on, Dolly Parton teamed up with Duncan Hines once again for bake mixes. And it's an interesting collaboration with her. In 2022, they had a line of cake mixes and frostings with her. So this is kind of expanding that. And fun fact, I think this was one of our most liked, not Instagram, one of our most liked LinkedIn posts of 2023 because everyone loves Dolly Parton. So the fact that you can buy a bake mix that she's sanctioned and approved with them is kind of fun.
Yeah, it is a really interesting move because Dolly Parton down home, she's a brand in and of herself and a very well beloved one. So it makes a lot of sense. And the people at ConAgra that came up with this idea are having a lot of fun with it. And it's grown from a couple of brands to all sorts of cakes and desserts and cornbread. So um, you can hit the store and pick up Dolly Parton's new book and the cake bake mixes and have a Dolly Parton party. This is a total side table, but Dolly Parton's America is a really good, I think it's 6 parts, so it's not going to take up a lot of your time. It's a one-off podcast. If you can't get enough of Dolly Parton, you can listen to this podcast while you're eating your Dolly Parton cakes and treats. So my next one is a product that I encountered at the Private Label Manufacturers Association show in Chicago a couple months ago. And Flagstone Foods is a company that makes, they specialize in private label nuts. And it's all sorts of nuts, peanuts, pecans, macadamia. And one of my favorite products that I sampled was sea salt caramel macadamia nuts. So it's macadamia nuts, which are pretty decadent already. They're one of the more high-end snacking nuts with a sweet and salty coating. And this was one of my picks for the year because I mean they taste good. I sampled them, they're great. But the elevating the already premium high-end taste of macadamias and pairing them with this coating is a pretty novel idea. Gives some people a little something extra special in their snacking nuts.
I don't think I've seen that before with macadamias, so to me that would stand out as well. I've seen it, caramel peanuts, caramel almonds, things like that, but
Mhm.
never with macadamias. Speaking of nut snacks, Sweet Nothings is teaming up with Rind to do nut butter bites with dried fruit. So they're using Rind's dried fruit, the brand Rind, can't talk today. And Sweet Nothings is they're putting together their nut butter bites. So that's something I don't think I've seen before either. Like nut butter bites are, I don't want to say common, but they're kind of, you can find them at the grocery store, but I don't think I've ever seen dried fruit in them. So that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and that I'm gonna tell on myself for a second and think that and rind is not something that I would if I just saw it on the shelf, if I weren't a snack journalist and I didn't know anything about it, I'm not sure I would try it. The texture, I would think that my expectation was the texture might be a little bit weird and wonky. However, if you've ever tried any of Rind's products, I think it breaks those expectations. And the same thing with this product, like, ooh, the rind would be maybe would that texture be good? Would it be chewy? I might be tempted to try it out of morbid curiosity, but now that I'm familiar with rind, I think that I like one of the consumers that have had their products would be reaching for this just because I would be so intrigued and pleasantly surprised by previous experience with the product.
Yeah, I would too. Ryan has sent me some of their products before and they were very good. I think one was like a standard apple chip, but then another might have been like pineapple or something a little more exotic. So it was pretty good. Speaking of things I have never seen before, all y'all's cinnamon churro jerky Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen the phrase cinnamon churro next to the phrase jerky, but
Mhm.
it doesn't surprise me because plant-based jerky has been rising, like interest has been rising for a couple of
Mhm.
years now. So that could be interesting because when you think jerky, you might think like salty, like meat jerky, but this sounds more like a sweet jerky, so that could be an interesting combo.
Yeah, as somebody that likes both plant-based and meat-based jerky, it's interesting that it has been, people are still playing with the same small, relatively small list of flavor types. You've got the conventional salt, teriyaki, uh, I'm trying to think. Oh, spicy. And people are, it seems like people are starting to have some fun. Jack Link's has peach. So that's on the meat side. Cinnamon churro, like Liz pointed out, is not something you would expect in jerky on either side. But again, I would see that on the shelf and I would be like, huh, as a consumer. I'm speaking on behalf of all consumers everywhere. I would be like, that sounds interesting. I want to try it to find out if it's good, interesting, or otherwise interesting. Because it's definitely adventurous and bold of all y'all's to try that. My next item, uh, Oreos. I mean, Oreos, innovative. I've mentioned before, there were two kinds of Oreos when I was a kid, and now they're going crazy. If you're somebody who can't eat gluten or you're gluten sensitive, Oreos have been off limits until recently when people released the gluten-free conventional traditional Oreo with the chocolate wafer, the traditional Oreo vanilla flavored cream inside. A lot of people were real super happy. Celiacs rejoiced everywhere. And then when the gluten-free golden Oreo came out, a similar effect based on, I shared it on my personal Facebook in addition to company social media. And I got more responses to that than anything else that I think I'd posted in a week. I know a lot of celiacs. I don't know why, but um, celiacs are just like everybody else. Just because you can't have, wheat gluten doesn't mean you don't want to have fun snacks. And Oreo has come up with yet another option for those people.
I think that's a smart idea on Oreo's part because they know they have a core audience, and why not either try to keep that core audience, like maybe as a kid you had Oreos and now you can't have gluten and you've been wanting some Oreos, or try to expand a little bit into the gluten-free community. So either way, I think that's a good idea.
Yeah, and now for something completely different. I just quoted Monty Python there. There's a company out of Texas called Low and Slow, and they make smoked chips, smoked corn chips, potato chips, tortilla chips. And this isn't they're not coated with seasonings that incorporate dried hickory or anything like that. The company has a proprietary process in which they smoke the actual chips. So there's seasoning, but the smoke flavor permeates the chip. And it's a novel flavoring technique. It's an interesting selling point coming from the land of barbecue. And the taste is really interesting. It's unique. And this is, I think I said good, interesting, or otherwise interesting earlier. This is good, interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how this brand grows. They're available online. They've realized that, oh, barbecue people, they go to barbecue fests and they sell there. So it'll be interesting to see how that brand grows with its pretty novel production technique.
I have not tried them out yet, but it does sound interesting. I like barbecue flavor, anything. For our last product, it's actually pretty similar to Rivals, which we talked about earlier. It's Outstanding Foods Stuffins. So Outstanding Foods is also doing, it's a vegan snack, and they sent me a few to try, and I tried one of like the 2 or 3 flavors so far, and it was called Pizza Partay, which was kind of fun, kind of a fun name. I believe
Yes.
one was like feta cheddar or something, and the other one was like nacho seasoning or nacho flavors. So I was expecting something more like crunchy on the outside and soft on the inside. And instead the whole thing is kind of a soft mouthfeel, but it is very good. Like the pizza partay tasted a lot like oregano and a lot like an actual pizza would taste. So I think this is another great like vegan snack option for that crowd.
Yeah, it's I've tried them. They were kind enough to send me samples, and living in a household that is half dairy free, um it can be sad when you have to give up cheese, and so you might seek out products that are dairy free but still cheese-y. And I think what Rivals and Outstanding's stuffins have in common is they have carefully executed a dairy-free snack that's still cheese-like. The flavor, the texture, the mouthfeel, it gives dairy-free people some of that experience back. And again, coming back to snacking is fun. People want to have fun snacks. They want to eat better, but they don't want to give up flavor and they don't want to give up fun. And a lot of the products we talked about here today, including the stuffins, deliver on that. So well done, all you snack producers, snack and bakery producers. It's going to be fun in 2024. Looking forward to more new products. If you're listening and you have a new product that you'd like to share with us, please feel free to email me. My email address is spinnerj@bnpmedia.com. Send the news along, send samples. I'm hungry. Liz would like some too, so I'll share with her, I promise. So until next time, we'll see you when it's time to talk about the new highlights for January 2024. Until then, I'm Jenni Spinner.
I'm Liz Parker.
We'll see you next time.